Hello, everyone. Welcome back to a new episode of It's a Progressive World, a lighthearted show about everything and nothing. As always, you can find timestamps down below and please like and subscribe. Alrighty, Sam, what do you have lined up for us today?
So we have a lot of election talks. We're going to talk about a lot of elections. We have the Iranian election, which is heating up and is going to be happening in less than a week, I believe. And we're going to talk about the UK election, which is happening very soon as well. Rishi Sunak called that one, and his continuous misadventures on his campaign trail. And Macron, another guy, suddenly is having an election, parliamentary election, not presidential. So it's not about him, but it's about his party and all that. That's another fun topic we're going to talk about. And also, we have bunch of progressive words, more sort of focused online YouTube news. We're going to talk about Piers Morgan and his just amazing channel, just just doing the God's work uh, on earth, really. Just from the most important issues on earth, such as Israeli-Palestinian conflict, to the most ridiculous ones, such as baby reindeer. Was it a true story or not? He's on it. He's on it like a fly on a, on a piece of shit. So he's just on it. And we're going to talk about some of his interviews, and it's all amazing. Like his interviews are the most entertaining things I'm watching right now. Going to talk about those interviews. Going to talk about a fantastic interview Matt Taibbi did with Breaking Points on the follow-up to his fantastic interview with Sabby Saps, in which he's just like, just saying that, old times people, now you have to take a side, and back in the days, you didn't have to take a side. And he's just not really that political, really, to be honest. He's just really not that political, and he's just doesn't want to take his side. He doesn't know too much about genocides and all that as well. So don't do it. Let's not talk about that. Doesn't know much really, except the stuff on his Substack that he writes about. So he just talks about that and all that. And then we have another great interview between Cornel West and Cenk, which was just, I mean, I only watch half of it, people, because we'll discuss it. But it was just like he would ask something, Cornell would just preach about whatever the fuck he wanted to talk, talk about. And then Cenk would talk about another topic. And Cornell just talks about whatever he liked. It wasn't very productive. And yeah, I don't know. I got very confused. But since it featured both Cornell and Cenk, I thought we should talk about it.
Definitely.
And yeah, and we're gonna briefly talk about just to end on a serious note, let's talk about Israeli-Lebanese war and the imminent war there. Kamir, what do you think? Lebanon will attack Israel or Israel will attack Lebanon?
No, but I have more a comment on the Young Turks that just
No,
remind
no,
me.
you have to comment on this.
I don't know anything, okay? I'm like Matt Taibbi. But I don't know. It just reminded me of TYT, man. And I guess we were just talking right now off air a little bit about people who are bitter and these kind of things. Anna Kasparian, her attitude towards Hassan Piker, have you caught any of these clips? Like
Oh
the
no,
way she
what
talks
happened?
to her, oh my God, she's so annoying
Oh,
with like
okay,
with
another
Hassan
topic added.
with Hassan Piker. You know, she's like sitting next to Cenk and like somehow they're talking about something, and then she's like, I know somebody else who benefited of nepotism. Hassan Piker, Cenk, your cousin, your nephew, who nobody. Oh my God, she's so bitter. She
Jesus.
hates this guy so much.
She said that who
Yeah, yeah,
another
yeah.
person who benefited from nepotism
Yeah.
to James
I'm like,
face.
no, he didn't.
Man,
He did
Jane
not. You
cannot
guys
fire.
benefited from Hassan Piker, if anything. Like now, if that person becomes 10 times
I,
bigger than you, I don't know who benefited from who.
man, I'm sure they gave him some good experience in the background, but to be honest, yeah, he was a young, like, I mean, I don't think there was that much benefit at working at TYT. Like, you put that on your resume, and, well, wow,
Yeah.
executive at CNN are gonna go, wow, okay, okay,
Yeah,
now
exactly.
you're
That's not the
gonna
reason.
come
I
through.
mean, he's a
Yeah, he's,
self-made guy. I mean, I don't think he learned how
I,
to play video games and make money off video games from Anna Kasparian.
look, I think he had a huge advantage in his uncle having the TV. He
Yeah,
went
enough.
there a lot. He had a good no. If you have a
Mhm.
base online, it really
Mhm.
helps for growing.
But he's
But
also
yeah,
better
I
than
mean,
the other guys. I mean, how many people did they platform and what did they turn
exactly,
into?
exactly. How's Johnny Idaho doing?
Yeah.
Johnny Idaho is
That
just
guy, they've been pushing that guy for 35 years.
well, who was that guy, the producer with the long hair, Tyrell
Oh
or
my God. I mean, if anybody benefited from special treatment, is that guy. They're like, wait,
Yeah,
who
I know,
here
right?
is the worst at being on screen? You. Okay. We want you to analyze everything, give your thoughts. We want you. No, no, forget
Yeah.
this guy. Yeah, this guy is good. He has a he has proven himself being good on camera, but no, we want you. And finally,
No,
what happened to that experiment, actually? What happened to that guy?
I have no idea what happened to Tyrell. I have no idea. I don't know if his name was I have no idea who
I think
Jyrell. That was it. Jyrell. I don't know.
I
Something
think now it's just Cenk and Anna, and from back in the day, they have the setup and the camera and all that, so they come and they switch on the lights and hey,
it's like
I do.
it's a AI operated camera. It notices movement and heat and just follows. No, yeah, he cannot fire that bitch at this point. It's like she can spit in his face, and he's like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, yeah, Anna, what do you think about it?" It's
But
like,
she's become a
all
very
right.
bitter person too, man. Unnecessarily too. I gave my life to this channel and this, that. I mean, go. I don't understand why
I mean,
she didn't go. She had a good opportunity to go somewhere else, unless she's getting paid the past few years. She could have left if she wanted. She makes it seem like, it's like a chore and she's doing people a favor by being on TYT.
yeah, I mean, it is probably because probably Cenk knows her dad and is gonna listen, tell your daughter he needs to come at her show. I'm guessing it's something like I don't know. Do you think she gets
I hope she
how
gets a
much do you think she
percent.
gets paid?
I mean, if she's half smart, she should have a minimum good base salary. And then on top of that, she should be taking money as if she's like a part owner. I mean, I would
Oh, for
definitely,
sure, for sure.
anything less than that, I mean, she's dumb.
Yeah, I mean, I would. I mean,
I mean,
yeah,
I'm
I
saying she
have.
should have a commission as well based on whatever their channel and all that bring. Plus, because to be fair to her, I mean, she
Based
is the
on
channel.
what? I mean, how? I don't know how do they even generate money at this point. Really, how do they
They
do? They
do
go
though.
have
Their videos
advertisements?
don't do that bad. Like, look, okay, fine.
No,
This
I know, but is
this
that
video,
enough to pay? Is it enough to pay her like what 60? I no more. She must be paid at least $150,000 a year, right? Minimum,
100%,
I think.
man. 100%. She lives in
So
LA and all this.
exactly. So how
100%.
it's not generating that level of money, is it?
But I mean, he's the only
How?
but she's the only person he's paying at least. Like, look.
Come on, Jenny Idaho paid minimum wage or something. Like,
But even
no,
him, you don't see him any. Okay, here, Giant Idaho. No,
see,
now they've turned him
China.
into a clown.
Yeah, wow. We have to
Look,
be, I mean,
look.
look, why is he a clown? I don't understand. Oh, his hair? What happened to his hair?
He,
Yeah.
he
I
dyed
think
it
that's bad
purple.
lighting.
No,
No, I think that's bad lighting.
no, he dyed his hair purple, man. What are you
No
talking
way.
about?
No way. No
How far are
way.
you from the screen? Why does it look? Are you like in a boy? Is your setup like a movie
Nah,
theater
are
there?
you
What's going
kidding?
on?
What's going? Is he becoming trans too? Is he gonna have a sex change? What is going on?
No,
Oh, so that purple hair. Yeah, people are commenting on it, so it must be true.
but
Yeah,
you,
wow.
you
All
see,
right.
but look, that's the only one. Any of these videos I play like this for a second, it's her.
Editors, cameramen, I don't know. I
So
have no idea how they, yeah, I don't know. By the way, you know I don't know if I should say that. But anyway, Jeffrey Katzenberg, the guy who gave these idiots $40 million, is now advisor to Joe Biden, apparently. And he's advising him to lean into his age. So great advice there.
oh, they did one video with this girl.
Oh, yeah, that girl, yeah. Francesca. She's she's the actual hot one, unlike Anna, who's masquerading as a hot one, but not true.
And that's decent looking.
Yeah.
But okay, where should I start with
But
this Matt Taibbi video?
shall we start to, because we talked about them so much. Let's start with Cornel West and
Let's do that.
TYT, and then yeah, because we talked about them so much, and Johnny Idaho and the whole gang. And you watch a little, see if you understand what the
Where
hell.
should I
Watch
play?
it. I think play maybe a bit of Cenk asking a question in the beginning, and then yeah, right. In the beginning is always good.
Yeah.
Gives
Yeah.
context to the people. So Cornel West continues in his misadventures. eh, and go on the comment section, see if he ever asks, because I did not finish the video, but if he ever asks any serious questions about his campaign. Oh yeah, the first comment is this fool a president. That's nice.
Oh, here's a
So,
vote Cornell. We such a dream to watch Cornell get sworn as. A lot of it will also
POTUS.
be a dream if I became president, but
It would be a, yeah, well, I mean, it would be a
look at these,
nightmare.
man. Look at these, like 20 likes and
But
shit.
you did something. At first, the comment section was different. You did something, and now it became
I went
pro
to the,
corner.
to be fair, I went to the most, to the top comments. It was the newest first.
Before it was newest first.
Yeah.
I see.
So yeah, these are some pro Cornell things, but I mean,
So nobody knows basically that if they ever talked about his fantastic campaign that he's running, and that's the theme of this episode: a fantastic campaign. Cornel West, Rishi Sunak, Iranian guys, Macron, just doing great. But let's watch a little before we just.
Who's exploited, and that's why we focus on Gaza at this moment, because a genocidal attack is taking place.
Dr. Cornel West, of course, former professor of the practice of public philosophy at Harvard University, professor emeritus at Princeton University, one of the great orators of my lifetime, now running for president. So, Dr. West, you're talking about Gaza there, but what's interesting is that at this point, the three leading candidates, Biden, Trump, and RFK Jr., are taking a very unpopular position on Gaza. And it is a curious thing for people running for president to take such an unpopular position. Why do you think they're doing that?
You're talking about Biden, Trump, and Kennedy Jr.
That's right.
Those three, yeah, they're supporting the genocide. They're denying the genocide.
Who
They're
else,
enabling the
Cornel? Who
genocide. They're
else?
supporting the
You.
genocide. I think one of the reasons why they're able to do that is because so many of our fellow citizens, my dear brother, you laid this out so beautifully in your critique of corporate America, corporate media, that they're not getting the truth about what's going on. There's a whitewashing, there's a sanitizing, there's a sterilizing that's taking place that hides and
Oh,
conceals
pause.
the suffering.
Yeah, I forgot to mention to you. That's what it is. Yeah, you see, people are being lied to. Otherwise,
hmm.
people, nobody knows about. And what was it? Another great channel, the Novaro Media, the TYT of UK. They had a great video
Ooh, that's
titled,
brutal.
is it? Yeah, I think, but it's fair because they had a video titled Israeli Lobby Exposed. And man, what is this? Like the 1995? Like
Yeah, I swear.
what exposing this? And people don't know. They are whitewashing and stuff. So they are being fooled into. People are fucking crazy, and they're willingly voting for RFK. They are choosing this. Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
I mean, because now it really is all over TV right now. And I mean, anybody who wants to
Man, it's
be
at
on the
this
other
point it's
side or see
ridiculous.
the other
I
side
mean, we'll
is.
we'll We'll talk about it later, but Roseanne Barr, one of the people Piers Morgan interviews, one of the things she's very upset about is about the fact that deep state, apparently, I mean, that's according to her, deep state is forcing Piers and others to uh, platform these pro-Palestinian people. And now people's mind is being infiltrated with these ideas. So yeah, I feel like, yeah,
I
even
mean, she must be
like,
speaking from experience though, because her mind does look like it's infiltrated from something,
no,
with
but that's
something. So
worse.
you
That's like
can't,
a
like a
physical thing.
worm or
That's
something. I don't know.
yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah, no, that's a worm. No, that's been confirmed as a worm. Her brain has been reduced to a peanut, size of peanut.
Yeah.
The rest eaten by the worm before we could get it out. So in her case, it was physical. But at any rate, yeah. So Cornell and Cenk just, spent 20 minutes of just, cliche bullshit nonsense.
Yeah, I know. That was a horrible 30 seconds to listen to.
I'm sorry for putting you through
That was
that.
terribly boring. I'm gonna go
But
somewhere else, see if it gets any better. Or
yeah,
should I keep
go
playing then?
see. Yeah, go play the next question
Yeah,
because the
that
questions
was
are as
horrible.
fun as the answers. Yeah.
About
that. And in some ways, he's very prophetic.
Yeah. So one more thing about this, because as I just happened to be watching a movie about the life of Bayard Rustin, and and he was viciously attacked
Yeah.
and lost some teeth, and when he had the temerity to sit in the front of a bus earlier in his life, and he's one of the great civil rights leaders of our in this country, and help organize some of the great marches and protests, and so. And I remember, of course, the posters that those folks were holding up. I am a man, right? And as you see people saying that the 1,200 Israeli brothers and sisters that were lost on October 7th, monumental, worst attack against Jews since the Holocaust, awful. Agreed. But the 37,000 dead Palestinians, 30 times as much, not important, and that Israel should keep going and that we should finance it. I just keep thinking of those posters, I am a man. And what's your sense of whether African Americans in this country and minorities overall have that kind of almost a spiritual connection with the Palestinian people, given what they have both suffered?
Well, I mean, it cuts very deep though, brother. When you were enslaved for 244 years, and the average slave dies at the age of 27 in a land that views itself as an exemplar of liberty and equality and democracy. You say, hey, America, you got to get off that crack pipe. The level of hypocrisy, the level of mendacity, the level of self-delusion is overwhelming. And I should note this, no, brother, we just lost the great James Morris Lawson Jr., who was a very close friend of Martin Luther King Jr., invited Martin to Memphis in '68, and was the teacher of John Lewis and Diane Nash and James Bevel and so many others.
Is there any evidence that there is a spiritual connection between the Black people of America and Palestinians, or the fact that Black Americans are more keen on Palestinian sort of? I don't know. Is there? I don't know. I'm genuinely asking.
Not that I know. If I don't know.
All right, but at any rate, I find this type of it's basically every question is, so why do you think bad things happen?
Yeah.
And isn't it bad that bad things happen? And isn't it great that people are actually great? And why are great people are great? It's just idiotic cliche questions. I don't know. I
know, but Cornel again. I mean, the only good thing I can say, he can speak sometimes in this fun, cool, interesting way, but that's it. That's why he's good for rallies and these kind of things. If you just need somebody to say catchy, punchy things like this back to back.
I despise this type of talking.
Yeah, but
I would call it rabble-rousing type of speech, but I acknowledge and understand that most of the masses like this.
Yeah.
So.
But unfortunately, there was, as we saw with him, there was really nothing behind that rhetoric. Not even
no, there rarely is.
Who can stick to their alarm clock and follow a schedule.
He was just yeah.
That's all that was.
He was just named, bro. I feel like he said something about Bayer and Ruskin, and then just Cornell was just like, let me just name drop whoever I knew. So yeah, James blah blah, who knew Martin Luther, right? He knew Martin Luther. Okay. But yeah, I don't know. I didn't see anything substantive in the 15 minutes I watched.
No. I feel like the Matt Taibbi
maybe
thing
we can
is much more interesting.
Let's watch a little from the end. Yeah, all right, let's go to Matt Taibbi. But I thought maybe we can just see how it ended a bit, but.
Is an part.
I understand what you're saying. I'm happy he came to the side that he did, and his voice matters a lot. But I often talk about leverage. Biden doesn't use his leverage with Netanyahu, so then I don't believe that he actually cares about Palestinians. He claims to, that he does, and he says words, but words don't matter when you send a $20 billion check over to Israel and then refuse to use your leverage. So when I see Bernie, AOC, and other good people refusing to use their leverage against Biden, I also wonder if it's just a miscalculation of politics or if it's just.
Oh, they agree. They wonder.
But I think Bernie is different than AOC in this sense, though. I was listening to AOC give a talk to Jewish brothers and sisters the other day, and it was clear that she was speaking as a politician as opposed to a truth teller. Bernie will sit there and talk to Jewish brothers and sisters and tell them the truth from the depths of his heart. He doesn't speak as a politician in that regard. So that there's a sense in which Bernie's moment where he could have come forward stronger became a moment in which he became a politician. He wanted to be on Biden's team. It was premature. It was without leverage, as you said. It was too early. And there were already crucial issues that he.
It's too repetitive. Let's move on to this. This looks much more fun to me.
So he's defending, what's his name? Bernie, I guess. Yeah. So this one I largely ignored the beginning. Yeah. And we are going towards the end because the beginning is just it's talking about it goes back to the goddamn 1990s, man. Just in Russia and playing basketball in Mongolia and all that. And yeah, from independent journalism and how I feel like back in the days it used to be in the old school that we used to go things used to be different in the old school. But then the newest school came, and then the newest school they built is not the same. So, he's just basically, and then Ryan Grimm, because Ryan Grimm is, he's trying to, keep his relations with Brianna intact. So he's like, these people who accuse you of leaving the left, I feel like sometimes they don't know, like they don't mention any names, because from what I saw, maybe I missed something because it has happened that I missed the stuff, but I didn't see them mentioning any names, and it was all like very, these idiots who don't know about enough. And again, like I don't think, like some idiots are saying he's like leaving the left. I don't think he's leaving the left. He's become irrelevant. That's the thing. I mean, I don't know. I never thought he left the left. It turned out he was just much stupider than I imagine.
No, I agree with that.
Like suddenly talking about Democrats are anti-freedom of speech. What a surprise. It's just, I don't know. It's just childish at this point, but it's fun.
To the height of cancellation time, cancellation period, which brings back your Russia time.
Yes.
How often had
in the culture wars?
Yeah.
That book.
How often had the exile been brought up again, like in your career? What made it? Like, how did that happen? That.
So I don't want to be conspiratorial about this, but what I will say is that during it had never come up until 2016, and then I started to notice that whenever I wrote about certain things, it would come up.
Like what kind of?
Pause.
When I said,
just to give context, I think they're talking about they were using. I don't want to say any words that make me biased towards one side or the other, but he was using methods that some have called into questions in his reporting back in the days in Russia, in his original website and the book they had with what was his name? With the other guy, Mark something. So like the accusations of sexism, possibly racist, that type of thing. And, it seemed to be motivated because he started doing the Twitter file, or started just, not being on board for Democrats so much. So, they basically brought up all these things from way back in the days. So I think he's referring to those. Yeah.
Negative things about Hillary Clinton, when I said positive things about Bernie Sanders, they came up. But,
in the context of the Bernie bro meme?
Often, right? Yeah.
Interesting.
So there was a group of
so Bernie.
sort of internet trolls, but it's such an inexact science, and I was never able to get a real handle on what happened. I mean,
whether it was coordinated or
right, you can't say that, right? Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I do know who some of the original people were who were trying to make us think about it.
Were they any of the same people that started the birther rumor in 2008?
I don't think so. I mean, I didn't really look all that hard at this, and I spent much more time just being bummed out and feeling guilty, and then I got mad about some of the press coverage.
Can go further, I think, ahead.
Making
more
some
juicier stuff.
Basically, I had people.
And like a Clinton op, it feels like you got on the wrong side of Matt, because I'm sure you get a lot of stuff that just comes to you naturally, but you also have limited time and resources. So it's not like the people who expect you to spend every day, this is why Donald Trump is evil in a million different ways. This is why I hate Netanyahu. This is why the CIA, well, like other people are doing some of that reporting. You're doing what comes to you. How do you decide where to spend your time and resources?
So I've always had the same attitude about this, which is that the press basically exists more for people who don't have anybody else to press their point of view than for people who have institutional backing already. So going back all the way to the beginning of my career, I always tried to pick stories that nobody else was doing because that's who needs those stories, right? Like, for instance, with we started talking about how Russia was being reported. Well, everybody at home is getting, it's great, it's turning into Switzerland. I would go out and say, look, it's subsistence farming and, people getting shot, in broad daylight. So I would do those stories. When Obama got elected, I was a big fan of his when he got elected on the campaign trail. Then right after that, I had to cover finance, and he was involved in a pretty shady series of relationships with Citigroup. I did a big story called Obama's Big Sellout for Rolling Stone that I was heavily criticized for, but I think that's what media is for, right? Like, we're not supposed to be in the friends business. We're supposed to do stuff that is true but unpopular. But I do now because so much of corporate media is monomaniacal and in this Trump direction. I'm personally very worried about kind of collapse of civil liberties and things like that.
The small matter of collapsing civil liberties, yeah.
Yeah, I've probably lost my sense of humor about this a little bit, but that's kind of how I pick it. People say, why don't you criticize Trump? I'm like, we don't have enough people doing that already? Right. Like, there's 5 million people doing that already, so.
And I think the first time you and I met in person was at a cafe in New York, because you had finished a novel.
Oh, God, yeah.
I don't know if you remember this, and I used to run this with a friend, a little publishing house, because we were like, look, you don't need printers anymore. You can just, right, if you have a website and you have some books, you could just actually print them. And you had written a novel about a drug dealer, right? And we talked about publishing it. But then eventually you said, I'm actually going to try Substack. This was a brand new thing at the time.
That was the first time you guys met? I would have thought you knew each other long.
Well, we've been on a bunch of listservs.
Yeah, exactly. We digitally crossed paths.
Yeah, he's in New York, I'm in DC. Also, after I had twins, I basically haven't left the house except to go to work.
Also fair. Yeah.
So it makes sense.
Makes sense.
And so you ended up doing it through Substack, kind of serializing the novel. Like, what was that experience like? And you were still at Rolling Stone, if I remember.
Yeah.
How did you decide to make that? Like, how did that evolve into your full thing?
So that happened because the only thing I could do legally with my existing.
To hear them both and then decide for themselves. But it does acculturate the audience to difference of opinion and being okay with, like, I say some dumb things sometimes, believe it or not. But it doesn't mean that you have to go running for the hills.
Right.
It means you can just flame me and just say Emily's great and move on. But that's very unusual in the media space.
Well, it doesn't need to be, though, because I'm sure, as you've discovered, audiences are much smarter and more forgiving than people give them credit
open-minded.
for. And open-minded, yeah.
Even partisans.
Yeah. So, like last week I did a piece about a writer for the World Socialist website, a Trotskyite who's in prison in Ukraine. And, there are some conservatives who subscribe to my site, and they weren't mad about it, right? They're not going to unsubscribe because of stories like that. But you will occasionally lose people over something that you say, but over time, I think it evens out as long as you do good work.
I've heard from some people, I think, I shouldn't say because I don't remember if I was told this on or off the record, but that people on the left.
Let's go with on.
Let's go with that, yeah. But people on the left who developed sort of center-right audiences, or maybe even like populist right audiences during the Trump years, as soon as like Trump was out of office and then there was October 7th, they hemorrhaged. But then people kind of slowly came back.
Well, I know Glenn Greenwald and Lee Fong have talked, I think, openly about that like, because they picked up right-wing audiences, not totally right-wing audience, but a significant chunk were right-wing because they both agreed on the people that they were attacking.
Yeah.
But then they realized after October 7th they didn't agree on Israel. Glenn has, I think, lost a substantial portion of his audience, but he has such a massive audience that it doesn't matter.
Right.
Like, how do you work? How do you think about that?
Or do you?
I try not to think about that. I haven't done a lot of stuff on Israel, but I never liked that story. I've never been there.
When you did the show with Katie, how often did that come up?
Never been there.
It's like Katie's biggest
Katie
show.
Halper,
Yeah, Katie Halper.
Yeah, so we
used
had
to post a podcast with.
Yeah, so Katie obviously cares a lot about that issue. We had a lot of guests on who would talk about that issue. I have written about it in terms of things like censorship.
TikTok, you wrote about it when it came to the TikTok bill.
Right. And so, we had people like Ali Abu Nima on, and that was after, I believe it was Electronic Intifada had been suppressed. And I had written about that even previously. So had Glenn. Glenn was one of the first people to write about that. I don't mind talking about certain aspects of it, but I find the whole thing super complex. And, I don't know how you feel about this, but I'm always very nervous about subjects where I just feel like there are gaps in my knowledge. I remember being on one of the first times I was on like CNN. They asked me a question about like Lebanon, and I just had to say, I don't know. I'm not confident to answer that question. And you could tell the camera hates that answer, right? It's it's a weird place to be, but so I stick with what I do know.
Well, yeah, I just think it's interesting because I do find that even hardcore partisans are more open-minded. There's some that aren't, and I feel like the country right now is 30% hardcore partisan left, hardcore partisan right, and then everyone else is just like, please, I just want to believe.
They're such fanboys.
He's so concerned about civil liberties and freedom of speech, especially regarding Trump. But Palestine and Israeli, I'm not sure. What's Palestine? What is Israel? What is IPAC? I've never heard of.
It's very complicated.
It's very complicated. But it's just that was probably the biggest highlights there.
Wow.
I mean, he talks a little bit more, but yeah. Did you find it? How do you sympathize with his position that if you don't know something about Lebanon, you shouldn't talk about it?
I think I think those were two unfair comparisons. I mean, I don't know what question to ask them about Lebanon, but fair enough.
Yeah.
But that he's been in this space and that nobody's asking, okay, be an expert on the Israel-Palestine thing, but he's asking as if it's a obscure thing. It's almost not possible not to know quite a bit. Like she asked, she's like, have you not done like interviews and stuff like that on the subject? I mean, something that you would have to willingly go out of your way not to know too much. I mean, I take his point.
No, man, Cornel, don't you forget Cornel said the mass media is brainwashing
Oh, there we go. So maybe you see, Cornel was right.
Cornel was right. You see, and now put on YouTube, man, Taibbi, Sabi Saps, because in that one, they get into it in a deeper way because about the Israeli-Palestine. I think you enjoy watching that a bit more. No, right, the first one. I think.
Oh yeah, the first one was on. Oh yeah, true. Thought that was the Vanguard boys for a second because the same yellow.
And now go. If you go ahead in the after the first question, I think around here, 15 minute, 20 minute. They get into Israel-Palestine. They start getting into it. So I'm not sure this is even, but put the noise up so you can detect where it gets.
Problem with Twitter because the rest of us seem to have this problem every other week. So I think Nico's example brings up a really good point. I think some of the frustration, I think coming from Bree is probably that I think when the Twitter files were released, I think some of us that are either progressive or I guess I'm a socialist. So a lot of us that are progressive socialists, we've been heavily suppressed on Twitter. There's a lot of shadow banning going on, which I'm sure you can see as well. Meanwhile,
I'm shadow banned on Twitter.
Yeah, I know. I know we talked about this. But meanwhile,
let me tell you something. Everybody on Twitter now is shadow banned. No, now I'm being serious. The only thing that's not shadow banned is like pornography clips, like advertisements of like mobile phone games. Like those are the only things that are not shadow banned right now.
From what I understand, Twitter itself was shadow banned.
No, like I'm honestly not making fun of them for once because I was making fun of them, but like Twitter right now, literally that's all it is, or like cat videos, all outdated things on like shitty places. That's there, and just ad within an ad, on top of an ad. So he's really done a great job reviving that platform.
No, that's gonna go down in history. But if you're shadow banned and you know about it, is that still a shadow ban? Is that just a ban? No idea.
And when you have to make a couple of command decisions at the beginning of those things, it didn't allow for a lot of, well, let's investigate this or that. It just wasn't possible time-wise.
Yeah, because I remember when the Twitter files were being released, I covered, I think, that very
thing, and this sort of paternalistic social programming that really, really stressed him out at the end of his life. There were inspections that he had to go through. And and the big one was that, he had gone to prison during a mass incarceration boom that was started by Mario Cuomo, who, and it's just stuff like this you have to do, right, as a journalist.
Yeah.
Now, when Trump got elected,
go ahead.
And as far back as 2016, I said, we're going to end up with a situation where we have right-wing media that covers corruption among the Democrats, and it's like Ukraine. I know a lot of that stuff.
I was wrong.
I lived in that part of the world for a long time.
But
this is an issue where I just don't like to get into. I found throughout my career that no matter what you say, unless you have it 100% nailed down, you get in trouble somewhere. And I just don't know enough about it to feel like I'm really an authority on it.
You get in trouble about it with who? Zionists?
Anybody. I mean, I don't feel like I have an obligation to talk about things that I haven't covered. You know what I'm saying? Like,
meatless Palestinians.
But I mean, I guess the question to him is like, so why did you think you shouldn't cover this topic? Because, it sounds like something that, that should be of interest to you. And I'm guessing he would say other people are doing it, but...
Or not even cover, like just maybe say oh yeah, it's mass killing, I mean, it's just he suddenly gets so like, oh, it's a subject I don't know anything.
Yeah.
You get so guarded and defensive about it, you get more suspicious,
But, and also like why would you not know about this? It's not like you're asking about something completely random, like asking about architecture in some random place or something, I don't know about this. It should be in his, alley, more or less. Fine, I understand he perhaps focuses on a slightly different beat, but the fact that he's so alien to the topic, it's almost impossible to be that alien to this topic if you're in the profession that he's in.
No, it's like, I don't watch football, and apparently there is a championship right now, and you ask me about it, and I suddenly go, no, I never watch football, and my family has never watched football, and it's not, I never lived there, so I never lived in the stadium. Why would I?
Yeah. But it's even worse than that. It's kind of like, okay, it's if you were a sports reporter and I ask you about this question, and then you're just
he's not really. He's much more domestic. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. He keeps like, no, I have always done this. Like he seems to be only doing stuff about places he lived, I guess, in Russia and America. So I mean, I don't know. He has weird. Anyways,
and it's also a topic that's so in your face. Even before this, the other girl asked him, she's like, were you not doing a show with Katie Halper? Are not like 50% of her shows on this topic? Were you zoned out? And if you just paid attention during those interviews, that should have been enough. That's all he needed to do. You just had to pay attention.
Are issues that I spend a lot of time on and comment on a lot because I've covered those issues. I've made phone calls on those issues. Like, I feel like I know what I'm talking about. And with Israel and Palestine, there are elements of that story that make me uncomfortable, and I just, the world can go without my opinion on that matter.
It's such a weird answer.
Yeah, and what makes him uncomfortable?
Elements of this story. I don't.
Good thing Savvy Sab is, I'm sure, gonna press him on that. So let me hear. I'm actually interested. I'm sure she's gonna have a follow-up question.
I think I disagree with that, Matt. I think genocide is a serious
That's
issue.
also one
I'll
way
tell
of
you,
putting it.
Glenn Greenwald told me one time. He said, "No one is an expert at everything." Like he had warned me about this. He said, "Nobody is an expert at anything. I don't care how long you've been doing this." So you know what it taught me is that if there's an issue that I don't know much about or I don't feel comfortable covering, I reach out to people who are experts on that issue. I think it would mean a lot to, especially a lot of people watching, to hear, you know, how you feel about what's happening, because a lot of people do see you as a prominent voice in independent media, and they do value your work. And I don't think that you should have to be afraid of the pushback that you're going to get. Just look at people like Aaron Mate and Max Blumenthal, for example. They get a lot of pushback. People smear them all the time, but that doesn't stop them from speaking the truth.
Right. I just can't stress enough. There are things about this story that make me nervous, and I feel like, you know, it's the first rule in medicine is do no harm. So if I don't say anything, I'm not doing any harm. You know, my job is to get stuff right and not get stuff wrong. So, you know,
Man, he can come up with a better reason or excuse. I think if he pivoted back to, you know, I work on domestic stuff mainly or something. I mean, because the question that's begging is like, why are you so uninterested in this topic then? It's kind of weird because, again, it's not something obscure. If it was super obscure, if it was, you know, some small party in, I don't know, a tiny country or something that 3 people know about, fair enough. But the fact that with this, and then he keeps on adding on top of it this weird sentence about there's some elements that make me uncomfortable, which is just stop saying that. It's not.
It's so weird. Is he talking about a story or like a person, or I don't know what is he talking about? Like there is no, you know, he's a good guy, but there is elements that make me. What are you? It's a story. It's not like a. I mean, I have no idea. I have no idea.
I understand,
but play a bit more. Yeah.
There are people who would like to hear from me in this issue, but I don't have a whole lot to add on this issue. I'd be regurgitating something that I got from somewhere else, and you know, I'm not a news service. I sort of disagree with that whole conception. Like, there are 2 or 3 things that I spend a lot of time on because I cover them over and over again. I'm constantly talking on the phone with people, and this issue just isn't one of them. I know that people feel like that's ducking, but that's the way it is.
Well, you're a parent, Matt, right? Like, so you're a dad. How do you feel about the children? How do you feel about the kids that have been killed in Gaza?
I mean, not good, but again, I don't want to talk about this whole thing. I just don't. I mean,
you would think that he's asking her about an ex-girlfriend or, like, you know,
his
divorce,
I know, right?
Or something.
It's so,
or his
like,
relationship with his parents when he was a kid.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, so if you ask him right now, like, God of War as a video game, it's not one of the 2 or 3 topics I cover. I feel there are elements of it that makes me worried. So no, I'm not.
He's making it so weird.
No, I have no idea. I know he's making it so awkward. Yeah, it's so weird. But so that's why it's like, I think his answers made it worse.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
It's not a news story that I would voluntarily talk about. Let's put it that way. If I went there
she's asking you,
and did a story, then that would be different. But
the question is exactly, I mean, I don't want him to go there, but why does he not want to go there, or why does he not want to? Like, why is he so weirdly uninterested?
Where do you have to exactly be? In Tel Aviv, or do you have to be Gaza itself?
Sure, like, you go to Tel Aviv, you ask him about Gaza, he's like, I'm in Tel Aviv.
No idea.
I can talk to you about this corner shop I just saw. So the guy's going bankrupt, and I've made a lot of phone calls, and they've confirmed it. He is going bankrupt. I haven't been to Gaza, so
can't talk about Gaza and Palestine. Haven't been to Lebanon, so I don't know what is his.
Let me hear a little bit more. This is hilarious.
Answer.
Right now, everybody. I just don't feel like I need to be in the middle of it. There are a lot of people talking about it already.
You're not in the middle of it.
I just don't want to chime in.
Okay. I want to move on to your article about Coleman Hughes.
Yeah, I mean, I almost had the same reaction too. I'm like, okay, not gonna force you, but
Well, I know Gaza broke your heart, so it's a
true. I mean,
good
that's yeah.
topic. Like, what are you talking about? It's sensitive elements. What does that mean?
And I'm
I
surprised
don't want to
people
talk about.
haven't gone and pulled stuff. Like, I mean, here someone is talking about how he interviewed Abby Martin about it in 2019. I mean, was he
Well, that
always
was a
so weird about the
censorship.
topic?
Well, that was about censorship. I have no idea, to be honest. I don't know really, but it's just so far. It's like, yeah, somebody. It's the weirdest answer. It makes you much more suspicious of him, to be honest. I'm glad somebody brought it up. I never thought his answer would be this weird and awkward. I only covered 3 topics, and that's places I've been, and yeah, I don't know about anything else. It's like,
Makes me
what do you think of?
uncomfortable.
Yeah, oh, but this mother, how does he? This goddamn. Do you remember which movie was it? Seven Samurai? Was that the movie? I'm watching Seven Samurai today. It's old school movie. Like, you haven't been to Japan. I dare you, if you comment on anything Japanese.
That was I'll give kudos to him. He didn't put like on a frustrating face in the sense like he didn't get pissed off at her because he was acting as if she was just crossing such a line, as if I'm pushing him, on
Yeah,
his
I know, right?
mother's,
Yeah.
his relationship
Yeah,
with
yeah,
his
it's like
mother.
seriously, it's like he doesn't get angry. He's like, no, this is really like, come on, guys, this is beyond the pale.
Yeah.
That's the one issue I don't talk about. And it's like, what, Gaza?
Yeah,
How,
I know
yeah, why are
exactly.
you so
Like,
sensitive about it?
who was it? Like
Okay.
that time, can't remember what. I feel like it was Chomsky, and someone asked him about his ex-wife and his current wife or something, and he gave like a similar response or
Epstein.
something.
Epstein thing. That was the yeah, I don't have to answer you, but in my
No, no, this is
after
something
my
completely
wife died.
different.
You
I don't know,
sure?
something like that. And then the guy was just like, like, anyway, it was probably something else. And the guy, he was like, no, I don't want to talk about it. And it was a personal question, so I understood why
Yeah.
you don't want to talk about it. But the way he's acting is pretty funny and weird. But yeah,
Yeah, it's
anyway.
just so yeah, it's a very odd one. But yeah, I don't know. I think you can watch a bit more, but that's
But
it.
no,
No,
that
no,
that,
to be
that
honest, no,
finished
no,
the
they changed the
conversation.
topic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, Matt Taibbi, what a fall. That was, yeah, unbelievable. And
how's Iron Matt? Have you come across him at all?
not really, to be honest, because I don't watch Useful Idiots, so no.
Oh.
And I watched one video actually with Max Blumenthal was talking to somebody on India and the left or something. But no, not Aaron Matte. I mean, it's just he's another guy who has a couple of stories and he's sticking with them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I think he would. I'm guessing he's sympathetic to Matt Taibbi, I would guess. I have no idea.
But
But
okay.
now, yeah, let's take a break, I think.
Yeah, let's take a second and come back. Alrighty, Sam. So let's get into the forbidden topic. If Matt Taibbi was here right now, he'd close his eyes. Again, I can't hear it. I
Ah,
don't
la,
hear
la, la, la.
anything.
Yeah. No, I will from me because I was gonna issue a content warning for those who find the Gaza conflict it may have elements that they find too worrying or suspicious somehow. They can look away now,
This
guys. Look
guy's
away.
tie makes me uncomfortable. There's just something.
There is the elements of it give me stress, so I'm out. But as I'm sure people are well aware, the Israeli-Palestinian conflict and the wider regional conflict is continuing. And maybe we can see this little update that gives, I guess, overview of update. But the most recent, I guess, point that everybody's focused on is that the tensions in northern Israel has escalated significantly And this is following number of assassinations and bombings, and then Hezbollah responding with certain type of rockets. And then another escalation point, which I think this video will introduce us to.
Breaking news coming out of Lebanon, where Hezbollah has released a video of what it says is undetected drone footage of sensitive military sites in Israel. Now, the group says it shows various locations, including the Israeli city of Haifa and its vital civilian and military installations. Well, we're live in the Jordanian capital, Amman, but first let's head to Beirut and speak to Al Jazeera's Zaina Khoda, who joins us now. And this is an important message that Hezbollah is sending to its arch adversary.
Yes, no doubt. Just one of many messages that the Lebanese armed group has been sending to the Israelis. But this one coming just hours after the U.S. envoy, Amos Hochstein, was in Lebanon, really trying to de-escalate tensions along the border. In this video, this 10-minute video, you can see reconnaissance drone, images from that drone showing highly sensitive military and civilian infrastructure. So Hezbollah sources telling us that this is a message to the Israelis. First of all, the Israelis have been threatening a wide-scale war. Hezbollah saying we're ready for it. This is Hezbollah also saying that we have intelligence on sensitive military sites. We have our own bank of targets. So really a message to the Israelis as well as the Americans. Part of an ongoing psychological warfare. This is a very different Hezbollah than the Hezbollah during the last war in 2006. It has a very different arsenal, more sophisticated. In the past few weeks, what it has been doing really is slowly unveiling its capabilities to the Israelis. Really part of a deterrence to prevent the Israelis from widening the war of it.
So, yeah, it seems that following that back and forth in northern Lebanon, and I forget this, but I think it was after this video footage that Israelis came out and said that we are considering a full frontal attack on Lebanon and we're going to decide today. And that was, I don't know, a week ago or something. And then after, I think it was after this video, which is, by the way, which significance of this video is that the drone has gone into the Israeli territory and gone back to Lebanon, and it hasn't been caught by the Iron Dome or whatever. And after that, Israelis, I think, made the threat of invasion. And then after that, I believe, again, I might be getting this order of things wrong, Hassan Nasrallah came out and said in one of the, I like to think one of the more hilarious parts of this conflict, he said that if any country is used as a third party, helping Israel, for example, Cyprus, I'm not looking at anyone.
Yeah, I heard that. What was that
about? Because Cyprus used to belong to the British before the whole Greek coup d'etat and then the invasion by the Turkey in 1970s. So, and there's an important British military base there. It's used a lot, and they have strong ties with Israel, as well as, Cyprus is one of those, middle of nowhere places that tries to have a strong ties with everybody.
Exactly.
There's a lot of Israeli millionaires. Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of Russian millionaires. Exactly. And
can't be too picky.
Exactly. I've been to Cyprus, and it's truly, remind you of Middle Ages. Let's just, but but this is, by the way, South Cyprus, technically, the Greek Cyprus, not the Turkish Cyprus. And so, as you say, they, Hezbollah, having seen that Cyprus might be, be willing to accommodate Israel, considering their weak position, as well as said, if you work with them, I might, sink your islands, just to make sure we are safe. So Cyprus, oh no, and Cyprus came out and said, no, we never worked with anybody. We are an independent nation. What are you implying? As if we can be bought by billionaires from Russia and Europe and Israel and Iran and a lot of other places. So no, we are independent and we don't. So, but the point of the threat, I think, was that Hezbollah is trying to tell EU as well as America that you won't be again. That's the message Iran and Hezbollah, at least the Shiite core of the resistance seem to be sending that they consider Israel as an extension of US. And that's been the philosophy of Islamic Republic for, for the last 40 years. They don't recognize Israel because it's simply an extension and an imperialist project, which I think is a fair enough point of view, to be honest. I can't disagree with it. I mean, I'm not saying it's the perfect point of view, but it has reasonable basis in reality. The tensions are focusing there, and it could escalate further. Obviously, I doubt it because I don't think even Israel would want one of its cities flattened.
Yeah.
But who knows? Camille,
I see.
right?
Huh?
No,
Yeah.
right?
Just looking at this
But
footage. Pretty fun. You have to love aerial footage.
yeah, man, I
Oh.
love that they add these new, like, they make that red and they make this, oh, look, we know where you keep your bombs. It's here.
Okay, there's some grass here. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
You
very
see
nice
that
grass.
pavement? Be careful. It
Yeah.
could be slippery.
But yeah, you see that car? You don't see it anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know, and things are escalating. But I gotta say, from a point of view of Iranian, I must say that again, like that's why, like with all the problems that the Islamic Republic has, their strategy paid off pretty much, right? Like they are keeping conflicts at bay, basically, because the strategy of the Islamic Republic has been to sink Americans outside Iran, right? To sink them deep there, like cause them so much problems there that they don't have the time or the resources to be able to
Yeah.
attack Iran. And it seems to pretty much paid off. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they weren't, they weren't all alone, I guess, in that. I guess, all the other
No,
challenges with
I'm
Iraq and
sure.
Afghanistan, all that helped.
Yeah. I mean, sure. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
truly.
But yeah, they bet on the
But
right strategy, I guess.
in this case, at least
Unless,
because
yeah, it could have gone wrong, I guess, if America, when they attacked Iraq, they would have also attacked Iran at the same time.
yeah, I'm gonna say last week I forgot to mention, we watched the Alan Dershowitz Glenn Greenwald video.
Yeah.
There was one I gotta say, like, there like if they hadn't, if from a point of view of if they were interested in American power rather than just making quick cash, let's say, if they attacked Iran instead of Iraq, yeah, that would have worked. That would have probably worked.
I
I
don't know
mean, the
if it,
neocons are
yeah.
right there. No, I mean, Iranian army at the time, man, it was pretty
And
much
they would have
nothing.
gone so
Like,
full force, but it would have been a big war that they would have eventually lost and left, just like Iraq.
you think so?
I mean, they would have
You
killed,
never know. They
and
could
they
have.
would have, something else would have emerged, but they wouldn't at the end come out victorious. I doubt it.
I don't. Yeah, probably not. But then again, I think if at that time, if they went in Iran, and
Oh,
I
they
mean,
would
to
have
be honest, if
destroyed a lot of
yeah,
things, and they would have
sure, but
killed a
yeah,
lot
no,
of
you're right.
people, civilians,
The
government,
thing is, if
everything.
it was the same people who did Iraq, they would have always done Iraq because Iran was always too big of a bite for them, to
Yeah.
be honest. And they wanted a quick cash thing. Iran was never a quick cash thing because if you go in and you fuck it up, it's just like, yeah, you're in there
Yeah,
for
now
like
what?
1,000 years. Yeah, exactly. It's like, yeah. It's not some, oil easily there just to pick up and go. There is quite a lot of people.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's counterfactuals are pointless, really. But tensions are rising there, although the last day or so tensions have simmered down. So who knows
Let's see.
what's gonna happen? We'll see. But yeah, this conflict, man, it's gonna continue for like I think another year or so, right? I don't know. Oh, do you see an end to it? Do you see any possible?
Um, I mean, it could calm down and everything, but it's all still part of a larger conflict. So, I mean, this is just one phase of it. So, yeah,
Well, do
this
you see
phase
this
might calm
phase
down again. Yeah, that I don't know. That could go either way. It could easily.
short term? Can you see it short term, like within the next 6 months?
I don't know. I'm going to use the Matt Taibbi card here. Right?
There are sensitive elements in the story. I don't want to.
Instead of pleading the fifth, I plead the Matt Taibbi, okay?
Matt Taibbi. It was also known as the sensitive elements.
They're going to add it to the US Constitution. Show up to court. You're like, sorry, Your Honor. Certain elements of your question. I know the case is about me, however. Certain elements just make me a bit
honest, I
uncomfortable.
always found myself very suspicious and worrisome. To be honest with you, I look into the mirror and I'm like, who is this guy? All right. Let's go to next political stuff, which is, I think this is the long one, Iranian election. Go to another video of Iranian election because this is the, yeah, here. So that's, and I think I sent you another one too. No,
Yeah.
pause, and don't play it. Yeah.
Oh, it's not good for background footage?
No, go to the other one for background footage. Yeah, because go to the one that there's a debate, because that's an interview. The one we just saw was an interview, but they're having debates as well as interviews. And we have I think last time we spoke, the candidates weren't even like the eligibility wasn't confirmed. And now we have 6 candidates. In a surprise move, the regime has even allowed let's put this on, but don't play ahead, just here. The regime has allowed the reformist candidates, which you can see there sat on the middle, on the left side of the host. So the guy who is sitting in the middle on his left side, then there is 3 chairs. The guy in the middle, that's the reformist candidate, Pezeshkian. Maybe you can Google him. And Pezeshkian is he's a reformist that is pretty much very much a conservative in many ways. So again, but they allowed him, which was a surprise. And that was the big shock news of the election in the beginning. And now we have 6 candidates who are, to be honest, surprisingly, it's been much more sort of heated competition than last time, so to speak, because last time it was a foregone conclusion that Raisi is going to become candidate. Now, maybe you can go to the Wikipedia page for the election because it has all 6 of their pictures. And it's become quite surprising because you have this candidate who's a mullah, you see him, Mustafa Pur Mohammadi. And he was actually on this so-called, and I say so-called because I don't necessarily agree with the designation, the so-called death council that Raisi was on too. So, very similar background, but he's become the most sort of outspoken sort of candidate in terms of, he's so funny, man. Like, as soon as, because they're having debates, and as soon as one of them, which is Ali Reza Zaghani, you can see Zaghani there. Zaghani is the arch hardliner right now in the election. He's the arch hardliner. So he's not probably the guy who's going to be elected, but he's going to be the guy who throws the most shit around. And he's like, yeah, you guys are like this, and you guys like that, and they all take it. Except this Akhund guy, the mullah guy, he's, as always, mullahs, that's the old Iranian saying that you can never top a mullah in, in a rhetorical competition. And this mullah guy is like, what did you say about me? What did you say about me? Everybody knows I am the strongest against America. I'm the strongest against foreign enemies. I negotiated with Saddam. If you say that again, don't say that again. Don't say that again here. He's so cool. And he said in the very early on, he said, yeah, filtering, internet filtering, that's over if I'm elected. It's over. I'm not even joking, or it's over. Let's not talk about it anymore. Hijab police, it's over. There is not going to be any more hijab police because I said so. Like the way he's talking about presidents. I know, right? Yeah, he's the mullah guy. It's just the way, I love, and everybody, even in BBC, it's mentioned how just sort of as a matter of fact he is about everything. That's sorted. I'm out. I'm doing that. Okay, nobody's gonna stop. So I don't know. I'm I'm considering voting for him because he's like very just confident about everything. But he's become the most outspoken. Pezeshkian is the most sort of a reformist. And did you see if you saw the interview thing? Maybe go back to the interview just because in the picture, as you see, the candidate sits in the middle, and they have two people on their side who are like experts on economic or cultural issues. And this reformist guy brought Mohammad Javad Zarif, the former foreign minister, one time as one of his experts that sat next to him. So he's more reformist guy, but the Ahund guy, the Mullah guy, he's the more outspoken and just basically just saying whatever the hell comes to his mind. And but the guy who's gonna become president probably is Ghalibaf. That's what seems to be the where the winds are blowing towards is Ghalibaf, and that's what a lot of people are actually hoping. And I'm to be honest, Ghalibaf, Pezeshkian, or the Akhund guy, I'm happy with any of them, to be honest. They're all good. And Ghalibaf seems to be getting the most sort of governmental support and attention. And he's positioning himself in the middle as well. He's not quite, he's saying no, sanctions are bad too. He's not quite like the Zalkani guy that I told you, the ARC hardliner, or the guy next to him who's a nobody. We shouldn't even talk about him. Who are basically saying no, sanctions had no effect on economy, blah blah blah. Man, the Zalkani guy is crazy. He's saying I'm gonna reduce the petrol prices to like 50%. I'm gonna come to everybody's gonna get a 20-gram gold every month. Just complete basic. He's gonna promise everything free. Like he's gone mad, completely mad. But you never know.
I see.
But it's been very fun elections. I like the Ahun guy. Are you gonna vote or
me? No, I don't think so.
Yeah. Come on, man. Let's go. Ahun guy is so funny. Like if he gets elected, it's gonna be hilarious. Come
But
on.
yeah, no.
Yeah, I'm not gonna probably. But I don't know.
Have
If
you ever
I'm
voted?
outside once, yeah. And you're gonna edit that out. Because if people find out, there's a good chance I'm gonna get beaten. I mean, that's the thing. That's the main debate right now in Iran, that will you vote or won't you vote? And most people won't vote, I don't think. I think it's gonna be around 50%, maybe higher than last time, but not much. But to be honest, I just never understand. Voting is not that like voting, like by not voting, you're not taking up goddamn armed resistance. So chill out. Like people who don't vote are like, yeah, I didn't vote. I never voted. I wouldn't vote. Like, okay, like the regime doesn't need your vote that much. Chill the goddamn. And the people who vote, it's just I feel like both sides are so like it's like it's not taking up armed resistance against the regime. You know what I mean? Like one of the most benign things you can do in your life. I feel. I don't know.
Yeah,
That's
definitely
the
in this
feeling
context.
In any context, in which election, in which country has there been a real choice? Can somebody point that out to me? Because I've never heard of one, but I would be good. I'm interested to. And don't give me Oregon election 1994 where they allowed some hillbilly. That doesn't count.
Yeah, I can't
Real
find
country. Anyway, so and go to the video with the video that was So that was a fun moment in the election. So the guys on the left, on the right of the host, they are experts in economic issues. How how they have been appointed as experts is a very good question, but apparently just the regime or whatever. And they ask questions, and one of them got into, maybe now you can play the video, but I don't think you should play the sound. But one of them got into a heated argument with this guy who's a famous sociologist, which led to quite upsetting scenes on
Why should I
Iranian
play the
television.
sound?
Because it's in Persian, nobody would
Oh,
understand
okay.
that.
But like, is it people shouting?
That a bit, yeah, a bit.
Let's just
Yeah.
see for
All
a
right,
second.
yeah, that's a good.
ناشکیبایانه ای رو اظهار کردند و این جای تأسف داره. آرام. آقای دکتر فاضلی که کنار شما
Okay. So explain, what is that? The host who got pissed off that he threw his microphone?
No. That was one of the experts. That was the help.
Oh,
for
so he was sitting here.
Yeah, exactly. And you can play if they just went to the beginning of the event, so you can see what happened while we talk over it. But this guy you just see now, who apparently was a lecturer at Nottingham University. So they bring these guys from Britain. He accuses this guy, who's a very famous sociologist, that, oh, you were fired over some like random issues, but you made a scene about it. Basically, like this guy was acting like he was, he was interrogator or something. It was very rude, or the way he talked and everything. And then they didn't allow him to answer, and then they cut his mic when he was answering. So he got pissed off and he just left.
I see.
And threw his mic like that. But yeah, it's just that was the most intense moment in the discussion. This guy is very popular online because he's very reasonable in whatever he's a genuinely good guy, but type of good guy who's always like, yeah, we need to talk, and people like, Democrat type,
Let me hear their tone here.
Go a bit further back.
نبودیم من پیمانی بودم چطور سمت گرفتید یه لحظه اجازه بده گفتی جواب بده به من تهمت دروغگویی زد حالا بذار حرفشو بزنه حق نداره تهمت دروغ چون نمیزنه صبر کنه حرفشو چون نمیدانید چون نمیدانید یا نبودید چون نمیدانید پیمانی بودی یا نبودی من پیمانی بودم با چطور سمت گرفتید با مجوز هیئت امنای دانشگاه با رئیس دانشگاه بله اینو نمیدونه با مجوز هیئت امنای دانشگاه آقای دکتر فاضلی ما در میزگرد فرهنگی چرا منتشر نکردید مجوزو به مجوز منتشر نکردید.
All right, well, people will understand.
And the worst part is the host, because he starts saying, "Oh, if you are in a culture discussion, please be nice." And and then he goes on to say that, "Oh, we cut both their mics, and people should have not seen these acts of impatience." And he used a really archaic word for impatience. And you're like, oh, shove it up your ass, you sensitive little flower you are. And so this was fun. But yeah, it was you get moments like this in Iranian, and some of the moments with the Akhund guy has been really fun. But now you can go to the one video we had with the lady. So as you know, the ladies' rights and all that is a big issue in Iran. And the guy who's presumed to be President Ghalibaf, this is his daughter. She was part of a scandal where family went to Turkey to give like baby stuff, to buy those stuff for her when she was having a baby. They went to Turkey to buy all their, stuff, and it like all the documents got leaked, and it was like about 300 kilos worth of goods they were bringing back from Turkey. All right, so it was clearly a shopping trip, and I've done it, we all done it. It's it's a very Iranian thing to do. It's but these people, they're so holier than thou and all that, right? So obviously it became a scandal and all that. So she did an interview. It's really funny because not just her, the Akhund guy, the Mullah guy, he brought his daughter as an expert on the shows too. So they are, and another candidate posed with his daughters for pictures and all that. So a lot of them are, trying to show that because they have daughters, like women's right. And this Mariam, she did an interview and she said, yeah, that was all lies. It was all media creation. Yes, we had gone to Turkey, but it was just a cultural trip. It had nothing to do about shopping and all that. And people are like, yeah, that 300 kilos worth of goods, what was that about? Like, you bought candy in the airport? But that's another fascinating part, that everybody's trying to say that we love ladies, women's rights. It's always been from my childhood. These are the journalists who leaked the
I
Ghalibaf.
see.
But yeah, even Ghalibaf and everybody, man. That's why I think in a way like the women's movement won, but I feel like radicals kind of don't want to accept it, that even like these guys are all like, yeah, of course, no, women hijab must be free. Nobody should tell women. No, they know the best how to dress themselves. Nobody should tell them. Like pretty much every candidate, except maybe one of the Zakani guy, every candidate is pretty much saying that, yeah, no, we don't believe in enforced hijab. So it's pretty much
Interesting.
won over.
And when's the election? In 3 weeks?
No, in a week,
Oh
less
yeah,
than a week.
28th.
8th of Tier. So today is 2nd of Tier. I don't know.
Yeah, 6 days.
Yeah, 6 days. Yeah. So,
okay.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
and by the way, for people who live in Switzerland, Camille is doing a drive. He's gonna pick you up. Whoever, anywhere in Switzerland, Camille drive picks you up.
I'll take you to the polls.
Yeah, take you to the polls, which is one in Geneva, I believe.
That's
Yeah, that was it.
hilarious. Okay, all
So-
right. I suggest we take a second and then we come back for UK, France, and the others. Alrighty, Sam. So let's move on from Iran and I guess go to UK elections.
Sure, yeah. Maybe you can play a bit from the beginning to give an overview, but the Conservative Party campaign is going terrible, as we reported before, and as I'm sure people know from other places. And yeah, it's been hilarious. I have a theory which I want to share with you after we play this, but yeah, just play a bit to give a bit of a background, and then I want you to go maybe to the place where they interview Michael Gove.
Jaunty music, mischief in the air, and a warning from the Conservatives in this campaign video tweeted yesterday. If you bet on Labour, you can never win. Only it's the Tories betting that's now the problem, and this post has since been deleted.
Hi, my name's Laura Saunders, and I'm the Conservative Party candidate for Bristol North West.
She's also being investigated by the Gambling Commission for allegedly betting on the timing of the election. Her husband is now also being investigated because until yesterday, when he took a leave of absence, Tony Lee was the Conservative Director of Campaigning.
On the 4th of July, vote Laura Saunders, Conservative Party candidate for Bristol North West.
But when did
worst
she
video I've
know
seen
the
in my
election
life.
was going to be in July? The Gambling Commission and Conservative parties said they would not comment on ongoing investigations. But in a statement today, Ms Saunders said she, quote, will be cooperating with the Gambling Commission. Laura Saunders is now the third person to be investigated over alleged bets on the timing of the election. And the third with a link to the Prime Minister, who himself is not implicated in any wrongdoing. Laura's husband, Tony Lee, was, until yesterday, the Conservative Party's Director of Campaigning. The first was Craig Williams, Rishi Sunak's Parliamentary Private Secretary, who placed a bet on a July election 3 days before it was announced, something he since called a huge error of judgment. And yesterday, one of Rishi Sunak's close protection officers was arrested and suspended over alleged bets.
Did you know that an election was going to be called for July?
Only when the Prime Minister told me himself.
A second Conservative is being investigated for placing a bet on when the election would be. It's not a great look, is it?
No, it's not a good thing for anyone. If they knew, and they're being investigated, we don't know the conclusions yet, but if someone had inside information and they used that to place a bet, that's bad.
Should they be suspended while they're being investigated?
I think, again, we should allow the investigation to, pursue its own course, and I hope that it concludes quickly.
That's a line that simply doesn't cut it for the former Director of Public Prosecutions and current Labour leader.
This candidate...
That was too funny. That was just 2 minutes of comedy. From the story to this lady's video. What the fuck is
Sorry,
this?
what was too funny?
From the whole story, from, this and everything, and then this lady's video is too funny.
I know, man. It's like
What's going on here? Is this the worst shot video ever?
I'm guessing it was probably just for Instagram upload or some shit. I don't know. It's like, I feel like because of internet, like quality production values have degenerated, sadly, it seems.
Yeah,
No, don't you think?
I mean, this one's really bad though.
Candidate,
terrible.
Bristol Northwest.
She's also
yeah,
been...
but man, just I love the fact in UK you can bet on goddamn anything. Like
I mean, anywhere you can bet on
I can understand
anything.
betting on who wins an election, but even on timing of really you can do that?
I mean, you can bet on anything
I mean,
you want.
But against who are you betting?
Other people betting different dates.
No, but I mean, are they like people are betting every day? Like this is the day. This is. I mean, is there that level of demand for betting? I had no idea. But
Love to bet and gamble to crazy extent.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I'm surprised.
Betting
But
and
this is
gambling and lottery and this kind of shit.
Yeah, that's one addiction I never was even tempted by, I think.
Me neither, man. There was this little like restaurant next to my old place under my house. Every 6 months it would close because somebody would open and it wouldn't work. Finally, this guy just opened a cafe with a bunch of like a lottery and lottery machines. And I think fully successful now. They barely
Really?
like they literally just sell like coffee, and then people, I don't know, they go and buy their lottery tickets from the thing. But so yeah.
That's so weird, man. And but mentioning it, like man, like that's one of the biggest social thing for guys, especially not like guys and ladies, is poker nights. Like all in Iran, or, you know, like in Tehran,
Yeah.
everybody has a group of poker nights. People they do. I'm so surprised. Like, why is poker so popular in Tehran? Like, it's very odd to me. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you win. Yeah, you win money. Relatively easy-ish game. Popular.
So boring though. I don't know. I find poker
Yeah,
boring.
no, I'm not a big fan, but I'm a big. I mean, I'm not a big fan of card games and all that. I guess poker is kind of the one I play a little. But I mean, yeah, I usually like get bored after half an hour, like an hour in, and I'm like piss drunk. I'm that kind of person.
Yeah. Yeah. To be honest, me too. I mean, if I ever play poker, I've gone in that location for the drinks, in all likelihood. You know, it's, like, you know, I didn't go there for cars or money. So yeah.
But yeah, back to this video and all that.
But besides that, before you play a bit more of the interview he did with this guy, and then I want to ask you something. And remember, this guy Michael Gove is a close friend of David Cameron and Boris Johnson. They used to, I think, be flatmates at some point. And he's an old guard, and I do think he's not running again. I think he's dropped that. He's not running again. He's just like retiring now.
That's bad.
Should they be suspended while they're being investigated?
I think again we should allow the investigation to pursue its own course.
I think we can go further.
I hope that it concludes quickly.
That's a line that simply doesn't cut it for the former Director of Public Prosecutions and current Labour leader.
This candidate should be suspended.
The leadership campaign in 2016.
What about general election campaigns?
Again, I'm not equipped to judge because...
Yes, you are perfectly equipped.
We haven't come to the end of it.
Okay.
This question is good.
Announcing they would not be seeking re-election.
Is this the worst campaign that you've seen in your time as an MP?
No.
Which was worse then?
My leadership campaign in 2016.
What about general election campaigns?
Again, I'm not equipped to judge because...
Yes, you are perfectly equipped.
We haven't come to the end of it.
Okay, well, is this the worst first month of a general election campaign since you've been an MP?
Well, I'm a participant and not a commentator. Once the election campaign has concluded, all of us can form a judgment. But, let's wait until the final moment. Let's wait until the whistle blows.
Some people might look at this and say, you didn't just say no.
Again, that's because I'm a participant in this election.
Lastly then, what's next for Michael Gove? The Jungle? MasterChef? What about the dance floor? Either Strictly or an Aberdeenshire nightclub?
I think it's probably better that not only do I dance like nobody's watching, but I dance in places where no one actually is watching.
When Michael Gove announced he was standing down after nearly 20 years, he said it was time to let a new generation lead. The fear among Conservatives the party left to lead after this election may be far, far smaller. Look, despite the walls crumbling on the Conservative campaign at the moment, there was a joviality to Michael Gove's responses there, bordering on a demob happy mood. And you get this almost a resignation among Tory MPs.
That was funny.
Did you hear what he said about Michael Gove interview?
No, what did he say?
This guy, go up further back and just listen.
Look, despite the walls crumbling on the Conservative campaign at the moment, there was a joviality to Michael Gove's responses there, bordering on a demob happy mood. And you get this almost a resignation among Tory MPs that you speak to, that this is all going very, very badly. Another...
No, pause.
Okay, yeah, no, just listen. Yeah.
Did you hear what he said about happy and his
Yeah.
tone? And I got the same vibe, man. And I told you, what was the scandal we talked about? The one that Rishi Sunak was at this D-Day event, and then David Cameron was there, and they said, "Oh, Rishi, we have to go for an interview." And David Cameron, having been prime minister, knows that he shouldn't leave in the middle of this like D-Day event. Doesn't tell him, and he's like, "Yeah, go, Rishi, go." Rishi goes, and he gets fucked. Also, desperate they are, they turn to our hero, Boris Johnson, right? They turn to Boris Johnson, our hero, can you please, do something for us so the voters come back to us? And Boris, guess what he's done? He's vacationing in Europe, so he wrote them a letter. He wrote voters a letter that they're he didn't even appear on a YouTube video or something. So I think the old guard are kind of basically sabotaging this. Like they are saying, like, fuck it, we're gonna lose 5 years. We never liked Rishi Sunak and his ilks. We're gonna crush it. We're gonna get crushed, and then we're gonna come back, with a new gang or something. I feel like I feel that's my conspiracy theory.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the wildest one because, yeah, right, if you're losing, fuck it. And the good thing is you will come back. If one thing is guaranteed,
Yeah,
is
it's
in 3 to
conservative.
5 years, you'll come back. So it's not like there are 59 options. So
I mean, are you
just take turns.
Are you implying Keir Starmer is not a type of figure that before and after his prime ministerialship, I feel like after he becomes the prime minister, the world is going to change because Keir Starmer is just such a significant figure.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I think it's been very fun, though, that Conservative Party, almost as competent as the Iranian sort of political parties. Now let's go to, I think,
What about
French
the
election.
Instagram videos? Were they not related to
sorry.
this? Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I think it was go to. No, this is not really. Go to the. Yeah, this one was funny, I thought, because it's so funny, man. Rishi Sunak, he's just like a sim. I don't know if you've seen the video where he waves and he waves like this. And then turns and then waves like, and this was, I mean, we don't have to be honest, play this, but he's a bit of a robot.
There you see that.
Damps the new?
Fuma Gibbs.
Lord.
But talking of European elections and leaders, now let's go to Macron first.
See, I don't know if we had a video of Macron, no?
Or we had a pic. Oh, I told you to Google something
Yeah.
about him, Colin. So I don't know if you did. I think you did.
I don't know where it went.
If that Financial Times thing,
No, that was Iran.
All right. Well, anyway, Emmanuel Macron, following his defeat of his party in European elections, called parliamentary elections in a very risky move, some say, and according to certain polls, the right wing associated with Marie Le Pen and her family are on the path to victory and potentially, forming a prime minister, although the left has come together and formed a big alliance against them, including Mélenchon and even François Hollande, the former prime minister. But a lot of people are calling it Macron's stupidest move. And, he shocked the world, but I don't know. I don't know if it's that bad. But it seems very, very risky. But what he seems to have counted on is the fact that the right-wingers might not be prepared for a campaign or have enough even candidates.
Yeah,
Same with
that's
the
the
leftists, but I'm not sure.
justification I've heard, huh?
Yeah, that seems to be the case. You
Or the reasoning,
might,
or the people's, I guess.
I don't know, you might hear like some French-speaking news. I don't know if I'm missing something or, I don't know if it's, but everybody seems to be pissed off at him for calling the election.
Yeah, that I've heard. I mean, that sentiment I've heard because I guess most people think it's risky and he might lose.
Lose, yeah.
But I mean, I guess if he doesn't lose, then he's gonna come out. I mean, yeah.
Oh, he's done. I mean,
Risky
if he does,
game.
if he doesn't lose, he's gonna become the king. If he
Yeah.
does lose, how many years left of his presidency? Do you
He
know?
only
2?
got reelected recently, I remember.
Yeah, I feel like it's not. I feel like he must have at least 2 years left, but not sure. French.
2027, yeah.
Yeah, geez, he has a lot left. 3 years almost. So it's
And
gonna
he
be
doesn't
very
have
weird
to
3
be
years.
reelected. I mean, yeah, and that's the end of his. I guess it would really ruin his legacy in a way. Which so
Yeah,
far
pretty
he's had
much.
a decent legacy.
I don't
would
think so. No,
say
man.
compared to the previous ones though, because before him they had for
Compared
2,
to
3.
Hollande,
Yeah, they
sure,
had 2
but
or 3 bad ones, right? But also Sarkozy.
not just Sarkozy. Before Sarkozy, it was Chirac. So
Yeah,
I think
exactly. So
Chirac is.
Sarkozy and Hollande. So 2 before him.
Would you say Sarkozy was? I think Sarkozy might have a better legacy than
I don't know, but I
Macron.
mean
I
he
don't know.
lost after 1 term, right?
Sure, that's true. Macron actually managed to win a second term, so that's a
Yeah.
good point.
And Hollande dropped out right after 1 term.
Hollande, did he drop out or he got defeated in primaries or something? Yeah, I don't know. Or he got defeated in the election by Macron.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know.
why when they're like, oh, Hollande is coming back
Yeah.
to help out, I'm like,
yeah,
we're okay. You know what? We have enough players. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're good.
So one guy less is not necessarily a
Yeah.
disadvantage.
Sometimes it's good, you know.
Sometimes it's good. Because exactly. We don't even remember if he ran or not. So that's his charisma. But what do you think of
It's not
the
like
Le Pen
Obama coming
family?
back to your rescue. It's like
No, it's not. It's the anti-Obama.
Yeah.
Short white man. It's like from France. Well, what do you think of Le Pen family? I understand your family has extensive relations with Le Pen family. We talk about constantly Le Pen family, Le Pen, like it's like you feel like it's mafia or something. You know what I mean? Like it's much more personal than other political things. And the new guy, have you seen the new guy talk? Is he
No, I haven't actually heard him talk. I'm curious.
play a video of him, see if, because
What's
you
his
understand
name?
a bit French. Jordan blah 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 blah. Sorry, Jordan Barba. That's it. Jordan Bardello. That's it, right? Am I right in pronouncing
Yeah,
that?
which is like
Am I?
doesn't sound French at all.
It sounds Italian, Corsican or Italian or something.
It's like it's like
Bardella.
where's Jordan from? Is it which?
I no idea. I have not even read the Wikipedia page of
No.
this
I
guy,
just mean in general the name Jordan.
Oh, Jordan. I assume it's like Bible related, River Jordan. That's my guess. River Jordan
It's
in
definitely not a French
country.
Votre sécurité sera demain ma priorité.
Oh,
This is a video though. You need to see him in a campaign or something though to get a real feel.
Or in a or like an or discussion panel. Oh, yeah, play some of the interview maybe. But I love that he had started with sécurité. Okay, he's right wing.
Et ma question, c'est si vous rejoignez Matignon, que vont devenir les gens comme moi, qui n'ont jamais demandé la naturalisation et qui aiment la France pour ce qu'elle est?
Jordan Bardella, vous pouvez lui parler directement à Nadia.
Bien, madame, merci pour votre question. Il y a souvent eu des caricatures qui ont été faites sur le projet du Rassemblement national et sur l'attitude ou le comportement qu'un gouvernement Rassemblement national pourrait avoir à l'égard de Français d'origine étrangère ou de nationalité étrangère qui travaillent et qui respectent nos lois, qui payent leurs impôts, qui ne posent de difficultés à personne. Je veux rassurer tout le monde aujourd'hui. Nos compatriotes de nationalité étrangère ou d'origine étrangère, qui travaillent, qui paient leurs impôts, qui paient leurs cotisations, qui respectent la loi, qui aiment notre pays, n'ont strictement rien à craindre. Je le dis, rien à craindre de la politique que je vais mettre.
Yeah, hard to get a little glimpse like this how what's it called he is, how charismatic he is.
Rien.
He looked there. I love this. The question and answer were so good,
But he
funny. The
looks
lady's
great. He
like,
seems.
it was like a foreign lady, and she was like, but I mean, very French
I
sounding. But
understood
she's
his
like,
answer,
what would you
but
say to someone like me who has who never wanted to even become French, and we're here? And he's like, anybody who's a foreigner or a foreign origin, if they're paying their taxes and they haven't done anything wrong and all that, they can stay here. Yeah, I mean, you do know there's
of
a
course.
jail system, right? If there are people who are not, there's a justice system. People are not paying their taxes, or or I don't know if they are committing crimes. Feel free to put them in jail.
I guess he was saying that they are caricaturing my position,
Yeah.
and I'm not as bad as they say and all that, right?
Oh yeah, Italian origin. His parents are from Turin. He's also partly of immigrant with an Algerian father who came to France in 1930s.
Now, of course, second generations are always. I mean, in this case, fifth generation, but you know what I mean.
The maternal side of his family immigrated to France in 1960s. His paternal grandmother is also
Oh, but
immigrant to
they've
an
been
Algerian
rich.
father. No, he's
They've
not
always
rich,
been
right?
rich.
I thought he's not rich.
No, his father was a business owner living in a wealthier suburb. They were probably one of these
But he
sort
didn't
of,
go to university and all that. If I'm not mistaken, he's been in the party since he was like 16, 17.
Really? That's very odd for, French guy.
I believe I'd
Look at
heard
his
that.
education.
Oh, he dropped out. He went to
But
he
he went
went to
Sorbonne.
Sorbonne and he dropped out.
So not too bad, I guess, but very odd for a French politician to not go to École.
Yeah. I mean,
No?
yeah, I'm just guessing he must be pretty charismatic and skilled, I'm guessing.
Oh yeah, I mean yeah. He seems to be a much nicer face than Le Pen and his
Yeah.
family. I mean, what happened to the Le Pen daughter girl? You remember the young girl who was for very brief?
Young? No, I
Yeah,
don't remember.
Le Pen's daughter, the Marie Le Pen's daughter. I think daughter or niece. Was for a while they were focusing on her. Jordan,
Yeah, I mean it
see?
is. Yeah, it does have that. But Jordan is used until night. Jordan was predominantly used as a male name in the United States.
One of those Hebrew names. Greek and Hebrew origins.
It's
So,
really funny when these kind of people they're like it's like I'm presenting the strongest French nationalist out there, and like Italian guy he shows rocks up.
Well, but that's all usually the case. So I'm telling you, man, second generations tend to be quite.
He couldn't have a
It's
nicer
the
Italian name out there.
Jordan Bardella. Yeah, it's almost like a comedy name, but it's the zeal of a convert, you see?
Yeah. I mean, listen, he was born in France and all of that. It's just
Yeah.
it's just it's just funny.
No, it's like somebody being Iran. No, you get that a lot actually in Iran, that you have these Iranian nationalists, super nationalists who basically hate Arab people.
Yeah.
That seems to be the extent of their nationalism. And their name is very Arabic name like Muhammad or Ali. Ali Arab Dost. It's like Arab friend is the family name. So it's like, what the fuck is Ali the Arab friend?
Is he popular on? Oh, his Instagram account is very bad.
Oh,
Is
must be.
Instagram not popular in France?
I don't know. I doubt it. I mean,
It
Europeans,
is.
you know.
No, it is. I'm
Maybe
pretty sure it's
is
the
that the
dominant social media platform.
Is it?
Yeah, I
I
mean,
would have
what
thought
else?
Facebook.
No,
Facebook because they're old.
I
But
don't
is
think
this
so.
the official page?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Hmm? Interesting.
Our investigative work here is really
Yeah, it's very
revealing a lot of insights
Come
here.
here. Should we watch another video? No,
No,
let's forget
I
it.
watch one more video, I'll predict the next 3 French elections for you. Let's
I
take
know,
it
right?
easy.
Too much.
Leave some suspense for the viewers. You know, I don't want to
I
ruin
know
everything.
yeah, you don't want to see his whole life just come to you at the same time. So, but who are you voting in this? Oh no, you can't vote in this one. But yeah.
No.
If you could.
I'm voting for
So,
her.
oh, for sure. If she runs in any elections, we will vote for her.
Do you want to take a second and then move on to Piers?
Before moving on to Piers, I think now let's go to that Instagram video I had, because there was another big news we don't really it's none of our business really, but North Korea and Russia had a big meeting which pissed off America and South Korea a lot. South Korea was like, if you meet with my neighbor, I'm gonna sell weapons to your neighbor, Ukraine. And I thought this was like the best video I saw coming out of the whole thing. I like the caption as well. The new season of Top Gear looks lit. I don't know. I was surprised. It got quite a lot of coverage.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. It's a typical thing for Western media.
You're right. No, it was. I feel it was more than usual this time, but who knows?
But okay, all right. Let's take a break and then come back to the Piers Morgan stuff. Alrighty, Sam. So yeah, let's move on to one of the bigger political channels on YouTube, Piers Morgan's page, Uncensored.
Man, this is the best channel on YouTube, right? Like for every news you want, you can come here, and he covers it all, and with the craziest people you can imagine. And like he brought Roseanne Barr to talk about Israeli-Palestinian conflict.
What a disturbed fuck she is.
And what was your how you didn't like this, did you?
No, I couldn't bear even listening half a second to her shit.
Man, she's a psycho. She keeps accusing him of basically being on the Palestine. There is a deep state, and the deep state is on the Palestinian side. That is just hilarious. Yeah. So he's having these psychos on. Maybe you can play a bit of her just to get a glimpse of how. Maybe from the Israeli-Palestinian.
Two things fascists don't like: dialogue and humor. They hate those two things. So of course they also don't like any sense of truth, which actually government verse.
Try and find Piers Morgan ask a question.
Pockets. It's
here we go.
News covers that's
Trump's conviction.
The better for the news.
Let me ask you specifically about Donald Trump's conviction, because I thought that was a ridiculous piece of grandstanding and quite dangerous for America, because it makes the
Jesus protects me so that I can speak the truth to people because they need to hear it. And I've given my life to that,
Moses,
and I'm just amping it up because I'm 72 and fuck it, Piers. I'm not going to shut up.
I would expect nothing else, Roseanne. You've been warming up crowds for President Trump. Do you think he's going to win the election, and will you be voting for him? I presume you will.
Well, as I say, Piers, I don't think we're going to have an election. I say that. So, you might want to move on with that one. Next question.
Well, what do you think is going to happen?
I think there's many things that could happen, but it seems that, all of these trials that they keep putting him through is election interference. And when they're not able to get away with that anymore, if you've noticed, I just want to talk about the good news, Piers, because I'm tired of the way that the media frames everything, you know what I mean? Because it's like, it just makes people think in a certain way. and it makes them think stuff's going on that ain't going on. So I just want to talk about what is really going on, Piers, because people don't know.
Well, I certainly think there is a very liberal skewed mainstream media in America, no question.
Challenged.
Oh, you paused?
No, I tried to put a different part.
But they locked me up.
What do you think? I mean, Joe Biden, there was a clip, I want to show you a clip of him where he appeared to be freezing. This was at a Juneteenth celebration. Let's have a look at this.
I think go further down is more fun, but...
Trying to hold it in.
Well, he's just like frozen, like a statue. And it went on for about a minute. I mean, it seems to me pretty obvious that Joe Biden is sadly in the early stages of genuine dementia. Is that what it seems to you?
It really does, and it makes me sad because one of my mom's boyfriends that she killed, we joke because she overfed them until they had heart disease and died. But anyway, this one, he was a lovely man, a lawyer. But he did have that, and he did die a torturous death because of it. And you can see that he is suffering from that. And why they keep sending out this poor old man, I mean, I have compassion for him as a human being, why they're doing that to him shows how they have another thing wrong with him. He should be in treatment and be taken care of.
Yeah, I mean, there was a moment at the...
He can't even form a sentence.
Yeah, there was a moment at the D-Day ceremony in France.
In the beginning, you actually hear... Hold on.
Yeah, if you go further down, the best part is where she keeps calling Piers Morgan out, saying that you support terrorists and Palestinian terrorists and Hamas terrorists. You keep putting these people. And Piers says, you know, you say that, but apparently 15 years ago, when you were running for an election in some, middle of nowhere village, you said that you want the occupation to end, and you called Israel a racist state. So
I'll go to that right now. Let me just play the beginning here.
Looking for Jeffrey Epstein. Jill Biden was Biden's babysitter when she was 15.
Yeah, that is not true.
Okay, get on Google. You can Google everything I say because I don't lie.
You cannot believe everything you read on Google.
Send him the Google.
You're saying a lot of things which are not substantiated.
Half the crap you say is BS. You and your Palestinian crap.
What is your view of the war?
It's a war on a whole other level. And we're fighting subterranean wars. The whole Western world is on the verge of flame. I was put in several mental institutions, and I don't walk around showing my wiener to kids. It, Piers, I'm not gonna shut up.
If you can't just say it, the chances appeared on your website. 2009, accused about things that you've... All right, Roseanne.
What? It's all about child trafficking.
Okay, but let me ask you this. All right, Roseanne.
Is what? It's all about to me.
Roseanne, you're saying a lot of things that you've obviously read. I want to just read something back to you because I'm confused about your view of Israel and Hamas and Gaza. Because in 2009, on your own personal blog, which appeared on your website, Roseanne World, you did
I know. Well, then we're going to talk about my waking up.
Well, hang on. Hang on. I haven't finished it yet. You said that Israel's military campaign against Hamas in Gaza was wrong. You labelled Israel a Nazi state, and you called for an end to Israeli occupation of Palestine. So you've dramatically changed your position.
Well, I was a pure old commie leftist, as was my daddy and his daddy too. I was a red diaper baby, and I supposed those things to be true. I believed what I was raised to believe. And then, as a leftist, I ran for president on a socialist party in 2012.
Yeah.
And it was during that time where I saw that almost everything that the Socialist Party was about was, you know what I did? I read the Goldstone report. Let's just go there. I read the Goldstone report.
Yeah, but
and
when you ran for president,
a watershed report.
Yeah, but Roseanne, when you ran for president in 2012, you one of your policies was to demand an end to Israeli occupation of Palestine. That's 3 years after you called Israel a Nazi state.
Yeah, it was a slow waking up. I did. I said I called it Israelstein, where children.
Okay, I really can't.
No, come on. She's crazy. You didn't find that funny? Yeah.
A little bit, but I mean, it's kind of hard.
Fair enough. Now, maybe so besides that, he had this great interview with Candace Owens about Israel and Palestine. And to be honest, they are both just so bad on some weird issues. And it's kind of like Matt Taibbi. Candace Owens does this weird, they just does weird defenses. I don't know.
No, for sure. Do you want to hear weird defense? Right? You watch this clip. So in this clip, Candace Owens talks about why in World War II.
Well, before going to this, then let's just finish the Piers Morgan thing with the Kevin Spacey.
Oh no, we'll come back. This is 1 second though. Since
come back. All right.
Candace Owens. Yeah, then we'll come back to Kevin and to Piers Morgan.
Sure. You guys still watch Majority Report, huh?
Sometimes, okay.
That was problematic back in the day, but these days, who really should have cared?
In the 1930s, there was another America First movement, sort of isolationist movement, saying we mustn't go to war in Europe again after the First World War. Do you think that those America First supporters then were right? Do you think that America shouldn't have gone into that Second World War?
Yeah, and that is a radical statement. People don't know how to deal with that because we've all been so brainwashed by the school system to believe that, well, look how great things are. Let me ask you about your country. Do you think that your country has become greater since? Has our country become
Pause it
greater
for 1
since?
second. Now,
did you hear the stupidity of that? I mean, she used the word radical instead of stupid. She said it's a radical statement. I think she meant it's a stupid statement. And then, I mean, America did have its best times in the post-World War II period. So that's a bit of a weird argument to make that things got worse for America after World War II.
I agree with those, but I still do think that but my point of view is maybe opposite of her, maybe not. I have no idea from where she's getting into.
She's just getting into that, you shouldn't intervene anywhere.
But if America, if America should have supported Britain and Soviet Union, I think, that's necessary to win. But to be honest, America didn't need to send troops to Europe or, do any of that because, I mean, I think they largely did that to prevent a Soviet takeover of all of Europe, to be honest. So in that sense, I guess I agree with her, but I don't know if I doubt she means it in that sense.
No. She means it based on this here.
Go back.
Into that Second World War.
Yeah, and that is a radical statement. People don't know how to deal with that because we've all been so brainwashed by the school system to believe that, well, look how great things are. Let me ask you about your country. Do you think that your country has become greater since? Has our country become greater since? Absolutely not. This whole idea of international liberalism. Now it's not just about your problems, it's about solving the world's problems. Let's make sure that in Pakistan there's a trans flag.
Yeah.
Most conservatives are nostalgic for 1950s. She's nostalgic for 1850s or so. What's going on?
Nothing. No, I mean,
Yeah, she's a crazy person.
That's for sure.
But right now she's becoming a darling on the left. She's doing an interview with Brianna Greyjoy.
And just because, I mean, that's Jesus Christ.
I know.
That was kind of stupid because, she's an unbearably horrible person.
She seems to be more stupid than horrible, but I don't know.
I mean, it's not like she has no impact, I guess, on anything for it to be horrible. I mean, but barely. I mean, she's a little fallen.
Oh, by the way, I thought black people in America had a spiritual connection with Palestinians, and I mean, she does actually. Yeah. No.
True. I mean, actually, you're right.
Yeah, in this case, actually, Cornel was right. It seems I called out.
But she has no spiritual connection with anything else.
No. Just with any place America is currently spending money on.
Okay, so
Before, sorry, go ahead.
I mean, this I don't even know if there's anything to say or do, right? Is there?
Man, he went full on. I just wanted to know. RFK did the interview with Piers Morgan, and he went full. He's going pretty much against all vaccines now.
Man,
Sorry.
this
And
guy
he's
needed
gone
the election to take
completely.
place 4 years ago.
Oh.
His big problem is this. He should have ran 4 years ago.
No, 8 years ago, 2016. I don't think 4 years ago.
But I mean, it's all
think
about vaccines and all that. So if he was ever going to capitalize on anything, it was, I guess,
No.
2-3 years ago.
No, but then they didn't have the upper hand. You know, back then the upper hand was with the pro-vaccine people. They
Yeah, I
had the mob
guess-
on their side.
But now the upper hand though is so far away that it's irrelevant. I don't know, or maybe I guess it is.
I don't know, but I have no idea. But yeah, he's gone full. Yeah, pretty much. He talks about, what did he talk about? That was completely crazy. Something economical. Want to get rid of gold standard or something as stupid as that. I forget. But oh yeah, hallmark of a crook. Yeah, our deficit is so large, and hallmark of a crook.
Couldn't agree more.
But yeah, I feel like he's going. I don't know. I wish you watched this because yeah, I feel he's going much more full on crazy now compared to 6 months ago.
I mean, what else is he gonna do?
Yeah, I guess you gotta racket it up, otherwise. Ratchet it up, but But besides that, Piers Morgan had this fantastic interview with head of the deep state, Kevin Spacey.
Yeah, what do you think of him and his whole thing?
I thought he was a good
what you think here.
actor. I thought he came across as very disingenuous. I don't know. I thought this was one of the worst actings I've ever seen.
Right? He didn't come off good at. I mean, I don't know.
I don't think so. I mean, the part where he talks about, he cries and he's like, "My house has been foreclosured on." I don't know. I felt like a theater kid type thing, like
yeah,
very bad acting. But I don't know. Maybe did you feel sympathy for him because he's been acquitted a couple of times?
Yeah. I mean, I haven't been following that closely, but I guess nothing really bad was found on him, or was it? I don't know. Give me a little overview.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he was accused of having inappropriate relations with underage, and it turns out, I mean, as he explains it here, and the courts acquitted him, it does seem allegations against him were ridiculous. He does admit to being handsy with younger men.
Yeah.
And to be honest, if we want to, then we have to prosecute pretty much everybody in every industry, from what I've seen in my experience. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, there is people like him around in every industry, and people seem to be cool with it unless somebody is not cool with it, and then it gets physical. And,
I mean, I guess he in a way got also, I mean, I think one reason people were quick to judge him was the fact that he had hidden the fact that he's gay. So people were like, okay, if you hid that until now, yeah, so that didn't help his case.
Yeah, I mean,
because it came out together, right? Like, I mean, we found out that he's gay, and those allegations that all happened simultaneously, right? We found out through that.
Came out,
and we found out exactly.
Yeah, well, basically, he used his gayness as a sort of a distraction for the allegations. He said, there are some things about me that I didn't want to share, but now is the time to share it. All that. Oh, the worst part of the interview that he came across as the worst was when he said, I didn't know Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Max. I don't know. I find that so hard to believe.
What did he say?
He said he doesn't know Ghislaine Maxwell or Jeffrey Epstein that well, and they have like 1,000 pictures together. Yeah. And he was like a head of Old Vic in London. Old Vic is like a high-class theater place.
Yeah.
And I mean, if there was ever going to be somebody who's like the broker for, male prostitutes, it's going to be him, like it's going to come out of a theater of some kind. So everything looks suspicious in some ways, but at the same time, He might have been just gay. I don't know. I really
Yeah.
don't.
I mean, gay and slash powerful and,
Yeah, pushy and maybe
I mean, the level
borderline.
of
Yeah,
respect this guy used to get was like,
yeah, man.
almost unparalleled in Hollywood.
Do
Like
you remember?
the
Like I
way
used to be
people would look.
obsessed.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, everybody, the way you would
yeah,
look at him and consider him as an actor and as a person. I mean,
yeah. Well, he was the only guy who this young with three. I think he has three. Him and Jack Nicholson, I think, have three Oscars, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, he's fantastic in acting, but not here. In
no, not
acting has
here.
the clearly out of shape in acting wise. But very interesting interview by Pierce, though. Whenever he does interviews with complete psychos, which we're gonna get to next after this, to be honest, it's a good segue. I feel he does such a great job. He just asks the question and just so maybe you can look at me now. But yeah, it's sort of ask the questions and he's like, so you 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 say that you did not rape any of those people. Speak. And then just goes. In case he might like meddle with the discussion or something, he just leaves. He's like, so you say that and yeah, you must speak. You speak. What are you doing? So he does that in this interview and the one which is about our next topic and final topic, baby reindeer, and whether it was true story or not true story and defamation and all that. And Piers Morgan, like Matt Taibbi thinks he's on top of a couple of topics. Piers Morgan has been on top of this topic from day one and not letting go. He's interviewed Fiona Harvey's every lawyer and friend and neighbor and all that, and he has every time he mentions that he has tried to interview Netflix and Richard Gadd, but they're not answering his messages and they're not responding to his requests for interview. I don't know. Have you been following Piers Morgan's
Yes. So hold on, I'm just trying to
following
find.
of Baby Reindeer?
Yeah. So I mean, it all started with the original interview, which is from a month ago now. I'll just put the
Yes,
background for
yes.
visual. So yeah, it started with her, and oh boy, was she not convincing whatsoever.
I know, right? It was like the character from the movie came to life.
Yeah, no,
So
it
weird.
was like spot on. It was exactly like it, and the shit that she was saying and all that. But
And I say that as somebody who's not really a fan of the show as well. So but she was so just like the character. I feel like she was
yeah.
like exactly the same person.
And now
But
since
yeah,
then, I guess she's doubled down and she's actually filed a lawsuit, right, against Netflix.
yeah, and I gotta say, in the interview, she says that she has not been convicted. She says that unequivocally. And if Piers Morgan knows anyone, he knows unscrupulous. I shouldn't have said that word, but he knows basically, low lives from London who are journalists, and he would have been able to confirm or deny that. And he says still he hasn't been able to, confirm that she has been convicted. And if she hasn't been convicted, I'm pretty sure that's defamation in UK. In UK, that's defamation.
Even in a TV show? Because the TV show, they claim it's based on real life.
Yeah, because they say it's
Because
based.
all
Yeah,
of this is
based
a
on
TV show, right? I mean, they didn't write a news article on it. They made a
Sure,
fictional
sure.
show based
But I
on,
think
yeah.
if you make it this apparent who
Mhm.
the person is, then they can sue you for defamation. I
Yeah.
think, but I'm not sure.
But I mean, some
Especially
factual
if it's
stuff.
not a person of interest or a public figure. I think,
Yeah,
you know.
perhaps. But some of the factual stuff, I mean, Piers easily. I mean, I remember the tweet. She's like, "Oh, I tweeted him a dozen times," and he's like, "There's like 300 tweets
Yeah,
here
yeah.
from one day."
No, that's yeah, exactly. No, in many other things it was confirmed, but the thing is, that is such a like. Why did they even put that in the TV show if it didn't happen?
Man, I'm pretty sure they're very confident of everything they put. You think they would?
Why they don't just put as like? Is there no? Maybe there's an injunction at it, so they cannot speak about it legally. But I find it very difficult why nobody can confirm or deny this.
Yeah.
Like say there's no registry of criminals, or is that not allowed to be shared? Maybe I don't know. Whatever is the case.
Very good questions you're asking here.
Yeah, and nobody has the answers to these questions. Yeah.
Piers will get to the bottom of it.
Oh yeah, of course. He has like if he put this level of effort into Israeli-Palestinian conflict, I think he would have found the culprit by now.
But they definitely got the jinx of her very well. Now, whether some of these things, and that's a pretty big one, though, I would agree that if in fact she was not actually, found guilty of what was it? It was of stalking. That would be a pretty big part of the story that they would have. Yeah, that's not something where you exaggerate or not, you know?
The thing is, yeah, even if you exaggerate tweets, I don't think somebody can sue you for defamation. But if you say somebody has a criminal record, then
Yeah.
I think in UK again, I don't know, in US is different. But it's interesting one. And again, what did you think of the TV show as a whole? Did you enjoy it?
So yeah, I watched it about like a month ago, or like even, I guess even
Yeah.
earlier than that when it first came
Came
out,
out.
and I would give it like a 6 or 7-ish. I was entertained at times. I wasn't loving it whatsoever. I
Yeah.
wasn't super entertained. I mean, I would find the guy annoying too a bit, and those stories be a little bit annoying. But I mean, I wasn't dying to see the next episode. I think after a few episodes, perhaps.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, how about you?
Fair. I would say pretty much. I found first of all, it had the same feel like every TV show nowadays has, even Iranian ones, because of the Netflix or streaming style. That I feel there is just the editing is very bad. Every scene to me, every TV show I watch, I'm these days finding myself flash forwarding or double speeding because it's just every scene I feel drags too long. So it had that problem for me, like it could have been
Interesting.
shorter. And then there's this one weird episode in the middle that is about something else, which in this case was about the rape thing. And I don't know, I found the way the main character was portrayed as sympathetic quite problematic. I don't know, I really despise the main character. And
Yeah,
that kind of
he
because
wasn't, yeah.
no, I know it wasn't meant to be as like as a completely good guy either. Like he wasn't meant to be a hero, but I still found it a bit annoying that he was always portrayed sympathetic, even though I think he was one of the worst. Like him and her were pretty much equally awful, I think. But yeah, and yeah, yeah, it was compared to the hype surrounding it.
Yeah.
It was so very average. So I think 6.5, that's my out of 10, I think.
Yeah, I would
Maybe
say
a
that
bit
too.
less than, yeah.
But I mean, that
But yeah.
episode in the middle, though, I guess it had to do with the storyline, though, which I mean, I guess just again make him seem more sympathetic that these horrible things happened to him on his quest to becoming.
So I guess the narrative then was what? Was understanding his rise to
Yeah.
using his trauma to rise. I mean, I guess there is that weird ending which seems melancholic where he agrees to work with the producer.
Yeah, I don't even
But
think I saw the last episode or two.
oh, really? Wow. Okay. Well, there's that ending supposed to be like double-handed, double side. I don't know.
And what
But
about,
yeah,
is the guy funny, like as a comedian, like out there, or?
Personally, I watched very little of his stand-up. Not that funny, I don't think. But I never heard of him before this show. But
Oh,
then
yeah.
again, I haven't watched British shows for a couple of years now, so he might be huge. Apparently, he got famous through the scene that is depicted in the TV show where I feel like he shares his pain with the audience, and that goes viral, and he becomes a famous stand-up.
Nice.
So apparently, that's his origin story. Which, yeah, I don't know. I find that whole thing weird. I don't know. It was okay. Again, it was okay. I watched Eric recently, which was also had very similar vibes, I feel. Like mini series and like kind of British, but not British really.
Yeah.
It was in yeah. But
That I had
that
more
one was
fun. The
more
monster
fun. Yeah,
following him
more fun.
around was pretty hilarious.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was cool. I mean, he wasn't that much into the. I feel like they used it too much in the advertising. It was much darker and
Hmm.
grounded than I feel the monster implies. That like the character is not that crazy, to be honest, um, or that mad. No, I really enjoyed that. That one was more fun, I feel. And his American accent, I feel, improved a lot. Benedict Cumberbatch. Do you remember his old? Have you heard him?
Well,
Like
he's in that he did that other British miniseries, right? That I absolutely love. Or am I confusing him? No, never mind.
which miniseries? He's done so many. Patrick Melrose. I think he did that. I think you like that.
Is that the one I'm talking about?
Maybe what's it about? You haven't even told me.
He's like a drug addict.
Patrick Melrose. Yeah, I think that's the one. Melrose. Yeah, it's based on a book. Yeah. See, man, you didn't even say what the TV show is about.
You could tell. But the whole time when I was
I
watching that,
know
I was
you.
kind of more thinking of this. I was like, oh, I should go rewatch some of these scenes.
I've noticed if there's a character that is like drinking and wears a suit in a style, it becomes one of your favorite TV shows or movies of all.
No, exactly. I
Doesn't
love one
matter.
scene, I think literally from this episode, where he goes to a restaurant and he just orders so much food and he eats it all and then he goes and pukes.
Oh,
I used
wow.
to
All
love
right.
that scene.
Nice. Well,
Because he orders
is he
all these things and then he goes buys drugs from like a fucked up place and then he destroys the hotel room. It's like the first couple episodes. It's before I guess he tries to sober up and he can't.
why do you sympathize with these type of characters? Do you see yourself as
I mean, the
something?
restaurant scene looked like fun. I was like, okay, I wouldn't want to do all those drugs and puke, but ordering all that food and drinking and eating seemed like a
Yeah,
lot of
that's
fun.
fun. Yeah. Yeah, good point. Good point. Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah. No, but his accent, man, his American accent in a couple of movies, including Doctor Strange, which is the most is so bad. It's like
Hmm.
cartoonish, like American. I'm Doctor Strange from New York. Like it's really cartoonishly bad. But in this one, he's much more reasonable, and I think it's set in New York, right? I'm pretty sure it's set in New York.
It's
Yeah,
between, oh,
NYPD.
what? Oh, the Eric
The
show.
Eric,
Yeah.
Eric, yeah. No, this show, I watch Patrick Melrose? I don't. I was in
This
my
one takes
drunk
place in London,
years.
New York, and then I think
Here,
France,
I've seen
maybe. I think where he,
ads, and
yeah,
I'm not sure if I watched it or not. I don't know.
I might rewatch a bit of it.
Uh, I mean, one of your favorite movies is
Yeah,
Croupier, and
Croupier, exactly. I love these kind of
Croupier, and
vibes.
and it's like doesn't make sense at all. It's like one of the bullshittest narratives. No, but everybody looks cool in there, Sam.
No,
Oh, I watched.
no, I love it. His life is the shit. You know, he
I
like
know
lives
you've
this
told me.
mystery life, drinking vodka all the time, and then he
It's
writes a
not a
book and he
mystery. It's
becomes
not
a
a
fame.
mystery.
He
He's a
becomes
dealer. It's not a mystery.
no,
He's
but
a
nobody knows
card
that he's an
dealer.
author. Then he becomes, this
Sure.
anonymous author. And yeah, the
Yeah, yeah,
drinking and
successful.
come on, Clive Owen, look at this.
Yeah.
How cool is this?
Have you heard about this? My dad is watching that. I haven't. I watched 10 minutes. I couldn't bear. Monsieur Spade. You might like this actually. Monsieur Spade. It's Sam Spade. It's like a detective from fiction.
Okay.
And yeah, it's a detective story while Sam Spade is in France. My dad is not too happy with it, I must say. And
I
he's
mean, I
saying
don't
that,
know the character and all this or like what it's
yeah,
based on,
yeah,
but
I
I
don't
might
think you
check it
have to.
out.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
he's big Clive Owen fan.
it's only 6 episodes. Yeah, exactly. I'm a big Clive Owen fan too. Think he he's the James Bond we never had.
That's
That's how
true.
I always see him. Although in this film, I mean, look at the pictures. Look at one of his pictures in this TV show. My dad says he looks so old, and
Yeah,
he says,
he looks much older than I've seen in a while, but I don't think I've seen
uh,
him in something in a while.
and
But
the hair looks dyed. It doesn't, yeah, it's not looking great.
oh, he's only
He's
59.
Yeah, he
He's
looks
quite
29.
young. He's only 59?
I, I mean, I assumed he's around 55 to 6. I didn't think he would be much older. Why, you thought he's much older?
Because for an actor and in a movie or something, these photos do make him look a little bit older.
Yeah, he does look, he looks like he's lost a lot of weight here or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
But
you're
yeah, I
right.
always thought he's
I
one
mean,
of the
here
more attractive.
he looks like he's easily in his mid-60s.
I don't know. I feel like the standards have
Here he
gone
looks
up too
okay. Now I
much.
don't know if this okay. Now here he looks a bit, yeah.
And back in the
Damn,
days,
Clive
people,
Owen is young though. I thought so when he was making during that time when he was making all those movies, he was only in his late
it
40s.
was early 2000s. Yeah. Men peak later, usually cinema.
Yeah,
It was
exactly. But
in,
that's why I thought he was a bit older than that actually. So Inside Man 2006. Oh my
yeah.
God. So he was only 37, I want to say.
Yeah, man.
Or sorry,
But
41.
I mean, now that I'm 34, I just don't, it's just, it
Oh, and
makes,
you remember this movie Closer? He's in so many good movies.
do that. Underboy. I never like, I mean, it's a Viking. I never understood what is this movie about. What is this goddamn movie about? It's supposed to be deep or something. One of them is a slut working in a
Good-looking
stripper
people.
house.
You read into things too much, okay? Just put it on mute and why not?
I like Clive
Or
Owen's
that, remember
character in that.
Duplicity? I was so excited for
Oh,
Duplicity and Derailed to come
that is
out.
that's such an underrated movie, though, Duplicity. I love that. It's so funny. I think it's one of the funnier movies, but I don't know. And Derailed is a good movie. Derailed is a good
Yeah, I
thriller,
can't
man. Do you
remember it
remember?
at all anymore.
Jennifer Aniston, Trains, or Metro, and his teacher to on black kids that are in jail or something. He's teaching to Chris Hedges, a student. So,
Oh. All right. Well,
it's
on
good
that
movie.
note, actually,
Yeah, let's
let's wrap this show up.
yeah, good show, good show. So many
Yeah.
elections talked about.
Fun times. Okay. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you in our next video. Thank you.